So we cannot thrive economically in a world where we don't have a stronger relationship with the US. So climate change is good for business in the long run. Just don't expect it on this trip. But in my view, what these two are doing is signaling to businessmen on both sides, look, we are going to work at any inconsistencies and in our relationship, any impediments. And what business wants ultimately to make investments is predictability, is a visible horizon during which their investments will be allowed to bear fruit. And I think that climate lays the ground for that. The most obvious one is defense, where I think India is on the verge of creating a military-industrial complex of its own. The word has been a taboo word since the protesters in America of the 60s made it a term that was to be scoffed at. However, businessmen and most economic observers know that the source of America's technology and innovation to a large extent came from the military-industrial complex, because that was a driver of innovation. In terms of new businesses and those which have a direct bearing on, let's say, the topics being discussed at this meeting between Obama and Modi, is renewables. We are one of the pioneers in renewables in terms of solar energy in India. We had a rocket, sort of a skyrocketing start 2 years ago, and then things we were sort of treading water for a while, the whole solar industry here, while the government had to take a decision on an anti-dumping duty for Chinese solar panels. That unfortunately their decision did not result in any restriction, and so the industry is rebounded this time because now we have visibility once again on the cost. And so we are ending up installing, by March end, we would have installed 180 megawatts of solar power plants, both by virtue of our own investment as well as EPC providers. In other words, we build plants for others. That's an equal pillar. And our target for next year is 250 megawatts in each of these. So in F16, we are looking at installing 500 megawatts of solar power. So this is going to be a very major area of growth for our business. This time, this old sounding slogan is not driven by import substitution, but it is driven by wanting India to be an export power. In that sense, one could again argue that isn't this a little anachronistic? Are you just trying to copy the Chinese? Well, yes, the fact is it's perfect time to copy them because their costs are moving up. This might be the right time for India to get just even a small piece of of China's market share in exports. Would have a tremendous multiplier effect on many areas, on entrepreneurship and also in employment. And don't forget that when you get these mother factories, they might look as if they're mainly robots there, but you have to understand that they spawn a huge network of suppliers which are far more labor intensive. And they, of course, spawn a huge network of service suppliers as well. So they do create enormous employment. Their employment generators throughout the network, not necessarily only in their factory.